Hello and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as usual, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. Joe, it's a rainy, gray week here in Philadelphia, and it
Oh
seems
yeah.
like we're kind of feeling the same way.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody knows this, but nothing has really happened for the Flyers. Like the big news of the week is that Brad Shaw declined to come back, I guess. But that we saw that happen live
Yeah,
last week, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. There's no Flyers that got traded left in the playoffs, I guess.
Well, no, Scott Laughton is gone, but like there's still former Flyers left and right. Well,
Former Flyers, yes, but I meant at this most recent trade deadline.
no, not even Eric Johnson. The Avs are out, the Leafs are out.
Kings,
Kings, yeah,
went to the
Kuzmenko there,
Kings.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and same four teams that we saw. Well, three of the four teams we saw last year in the conference final, plus the Hurricanes. So August is like the real dog days of the summer, but this is the dog days of the spring here for the teams that missed the playoffs. Got through the lottery. We got our coach. At least we had that excitement. Like at least it wasn't like another one of these rebuilding teams where we're like, all right, we're just waiting for the draft, waiting for free agency, but. Yeah, we don't have like a ton on our sheet. It's blank, so we're just gonna go off the seat of our pants here. I guess let's just start with Rick Tocchet. We recorded last Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday. He was introduced on Friday, and like
Mm-hmm.
hearing Briere talk about him, you can't help but like the hire more and more. Obviously, you are going to be skeptical as you are about every coach, but like
Sure.
hearing him be like how he's for the players, just like the anti-torts. It's like it's good to hear, and it's encouraging to hear.
Yeah. I must confess, I don't think I watched the entire presser. I'm a bad hockey journo. But no, all of the quotes that got pulled from it, the clips I saw, he wasn't my first choice. I still don't think he's my first choice, but I get the logic behind it. This has always been one of the big problems with the Chuck Fletcher era is that there was no plan. Oh yeah, we're going to aggressively retool by bringing back Justin Braun. Like that, what was being sold to us was so different from what the actions that the front office were taking. This time, I mean, I get it. I see it. I see the logic behind it. There's a rhyme to the reason. And one thing that did spring out at me, Rick Tocchet didn't come up in the Flyers system after his playing career. I mean, like all of his coaching was done outside the organization. He wasn't really involved with the Flyers. Yes, he's a former Flyer, but most of his post-playing career has not been in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he has the ties of playing here twice, teammates with Keith Jones. He mentioned that right away in the press conference, mentioning
Right.
it's Planet Spectrum, all that, being amazed by the practice facility here because they don't have a practice rink
Yep.
in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I've been thinking about with Tocchet over the past week or so, and I'm planning on writing on this at some point. We'll see when that is. But like, this is the first coaching job where Tocchet is coming in to grow with the team. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
look at his first job in Tampa Bay, he was kind of just thrown in there. Bad team, weren't really expecting much rebuilding, if that, very early stages there.
Yep.
And then Arizona, like that was just like,
It's
all right, try to keep the franchise afloat as much as you can. Like, let's see what you got. And then Vancouver did a great job, but he was brought in to fix that team. He was brought in midseason, turned that team around for the second half of the year, went into the next year, had great goaltending, great PDO.
mm-hmm.
Credit to him. It was a good coach that year, turning them around. But won the Jack Adams and all that. But he was never there to grow with the team. He was brought
No.
in to either fix problems or just placate what's going on. So now coming in, they talked about how Briere has a plan. We talk about how Briere has a plan, and Tocchet likes the plan. You see
Mm-hmm.
what the Flyers have growing here. They have their veteran Konechny, Sanheim, Couturier locked up for better or worse with Couturier there. They have their younger core in place now. They've weeded out the guys that they don't want here, like Farabee, Frost, stuck with Forster, Brink, Michkov, obviously. Noah Cates,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens with him as an RFA. Same with Cam York, but they have the core in place and they have the draft picks. They have the cap space coming up that Tocchet has the ability to come in, be the good guy after Torts was the bad guy and really grow with this team. Like he's gonna love coaching these guys, and these guys are gonna love playing for him after playing for Torts for some of these guys their whole careers.
Yeah. No, I mean, everyone's like, oh, Tocchet and Torts are cut from the same cloth. Tocchet is like a player's coach through and through. He just looks like he would be a driver in the same way that Tortorella might be. No, I wrote an article for Broad Street Hockey, like and subscribe, and it was a little bit tongue in cheek, but basically posited that could this Flyers roster be the best roster that Rick Tocchet has had. Like you said, with the Lightning, he came in mid-season, and then in the next year, Steven Stamkos, as a sophomore, scored 51 goals and won the Rocket Richard. So he let good players be good players, but the top players on that team were Stamkos, exiting his prime Le Cavalier, and an ageless Marty St. Louis. Like that was that team and nothing else. Although I did find out Nate Thompson was there.
Oh wow!
At that time, can you believe that?
I can that he's just around wherever.
He was 24. That's wild, man.
Wow.
What a time. With the Yotes, Clayton Keller was his best player, and he scored 65 points in his rookie season as a 19-year-old. And that 0.8 points per game was the best of all 4 years he was there. Second place was Phil Kessel in the 2020-21 shortened season, who had 0.77 points per game. Like, that's a bad team. That's a bad team. That's a real bad team.
Yeah. And like Vancouver obviously had skill, had good players with Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, Thatcher Demko, and net. Like, so there had some talent there, but outside of that Canucks team, he's loved coming in, coaching these guys. You mentioned Stamkos and Keller both having great years, as rookies, as sophomores. So I'm excited for what Michkov can do, because I feel like he's going to be unleashed a little bit. He'll be like, all right, go do your thing in the offensive zone. And people are talking about like, oh, Rick Tocchet, this old school guy, he's going to want to do dump and chase, whatnot. But if you listen to him, he doesn't want to do dump and chase. Like, not all the time. It works for some players. It works for some lines. It works in some scenarios, and it's not a bad thing. Dump and chase is not a bad thing. Look at the teams left in the playoffs. The Panthers and the Hurricanes are two of the best in the league at doing it, and it's boring to watch. It's not exciting as seeing Connor McDavid fly into the zone, but it works, and that seems to be what the Flyers are building towards. And you got to work with what your players can bring. You got to coach your players. You can't just coach your system and hope that your players fit it.
Yep. And there was a really good article on The Athletic today about how the Hurricanes and the Panthers are like the best forechecking teams in the league. And I'm not going to give that article away. If you guys want to go read it, go for it. But basically it was that in the playoffs, the chip and chase and going after pucks is much more effective than high-speed transition plays, like those really up and down kind of offensive forms of hockey. You still need to do it, because when you get the chance, you want to score on the breakaway. Like that's part of it. But what wins you series, what wins you cups, is being able to dump that puck in and get your ass after it. And the Flyers have a few players who've shown that they're pretty good at that. Tyson Forrester, especially, and him and Noah Cates. I know he won't be here, but Garnet Hathaway's quite good at getting in there.
What do you mean he won't be here?
Well, next year he will be, but I mean, many years down the line
when they're actually competitive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And Coots is good at it when he's at his best. We'll see. So the pieces are in place. The one that concerns me is Owen Tippett. Maybe Tocchet's the Tippett whisperer. Tocchet is the Tippett whisperer, the same way he was the Phil Kessel whisperer. So
that would be good. I feel like Brock Besser is a similar type player he had in Vancouver. Besser is a free agent now. He was very streaky there. 25 goals this year. Last year, before, at 40 goals. Like, that was a great season for him. So but we'll see if Tippett's here, because I feel like Tippett is one of the guys that, myself included, is throwing him into a trade for Marco Rossi, for Tage Thompson, for whatever center you want to bring here, and it makes sense a little bit. But yeah, Tocchet is going to be a recruiter as well, so he will be able to bring those players in, and dump and chase. Yeah, it's going to work for some players, but he's not going to tell the top line with Matt Van Meechkoff, be like, all right, dump the puck in and go get it, Meech. Like, no, he's just not.
That said, I think Meechkoff would be pretty good at it. Like he's so relentless that he'd probably be fine at it. I don't think it's going to be an elite strength of his, the way that Sam Bennett and Sam Reinhart just go with the puck every time. But I don't think he'd be bad at it.
You want to be bad at it. You just don't want him going in there throwing the body around, opening himself up to some hits in the corner. And
I mean, maybe we don't want to, but I bet you Meechkoff. He's like, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have some somewhat breaking news. Not related to the Flyers, but it is related to the one, the only. How does it affect the Toronto Maple Leafs? Brandon Shanahan has been Shanahan.
I like that.
Shout out Kelly Hinkle for that one. That was really good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Shanahan's been fired. I know he's been linked to the Islanders, which fine, because fuck the Islanders. And I don't know. Sean McIndoe on The Athletic the other day wrote a really good Q&A or mailbag, and one of the responses was, at the beginning, the Shana plan, you believed in it. It should have worked. Like by any measurement, it should have worked. That the process was sound. We're going to get these high skill, talented players, and they are. Say what you will about them in the playoffs, but Marner, Matthews, Tavares, and Nylander are all extremely good hockey players, but it just didn't come together. And then his biggest failure was that he failed to pivot when it became clear that it wasn't working. So, Chuck Fletcher failed to pivot when it was clear that it wasn't working. My only hope is that Danny Briere, if there comes a point where it's clear a player or two or some kind of system or the coach, whatever it may be, isn't working, that there is no fear in pivoting. So far, so good. He has not been afraid to make trades that need to be made, to jettison players that don't fit. I mean, nobody can predict the future, but if what he's done so far is a good baseline, I'm not worried that they won't be too scared to make the right moves when the time comes.
Yeah, I've seen Shanahan linked to the Islanders as well. And, it is kind of scary as the Islanders being in your division and your most hated team, Joe, because, yeah, he did have that rebuild in Toronto. Obviously, lucked out into some really high-end players with Matthews, Marner, Nylander, and, signed Tavares there. But like you said, he was like, all right, this is going to work.
Wait a minute. That's what's going to happen. He's going to go
back to Long Island?
Yes, he's going to go back to Long Island. And or Shanahan's going to go to the Islanders and then sign Tavares back, but I doubt that. Also, as long as Lou is still in that organization, I don't think there's any.
Is he in the? I thought they let him go or something. I'm sure he's hanging around.
He's hanging around, and his son still has a job. Like they haven't officially told him to leave. Like that's Lou's team. You can't bring someone in unless you are going to kick Lou out, and then also probably fire his son. So I don't know, man. People bitch about Comcast ownership. Having a solo owner who gets to make those decisions is, the bottom line for Comcast. It's like, what's the bottom line? Is this working? Yes or no? Okay, no, you're gone. If it's one guy, it's like, oh, but I like Lou. I want to fire it.
Yeah. I mean, so Briere will have to pivot. We saw that like with Hextall. His plan was going, and ownership wanted him to speed it up a little bit. The JVR signing was a horrible timing for the Flyers. They just wanted to make a big move, and he was out there, and that can relate potentially relate to our next topic here, but also some more Flyers related breaking news. Travis Sanheim opens the scoring for Canada in the third period in their quarterfinal game against I believe it's
just
Denmark.
Now?
Yeah, just now. It's
cool.
It's in played in Sweden, I believe. So Travis Konechny, secondary assist there. Sanheim went down into the low slot, got the pass from Crosby and put it home there. So Sanheim playing well. Konechny keeping the assists going. I saw he has like close to the most assists in the tournament right now. Of course, Tyson Forster had a great goal.
Fantastic
goal against Team Sweden and Jacob Markstrom. Like Team Sweden is the the host country. Like they want to bring this home.
Yeah.
A lot of countries don't care as much. I guess the North American countries don't care as much about the World Championships because you have the Stanley Cup going on. But these European countries, they care a lot. The Czechia, I think they're defending champions. Sweden, of course, as well. Yeah, Konechny had 12 points in 7 games going into this quarterfinal. So
Wow.
put him with some good players, and he'll get some good production there.
It's almost like his underlying numbers have always pointed to him being a top level player. Crazy. He just can't be the guy. But man, if you put him with someone to support, he is whoo baby.
Or if you go out and get someone who is even better than Travis Konechny at his peak.
No.
He is what the biggest Travis Konechny stands think he can be this guy. Mitch Marner is, as Joe takes a sip of his beverage there, Mitch Marner is the best available free agent on the market. We've had Martinez on. He's a big preacher of, don't get the best available, get the best when they're available. But Mitch Marner, no, he's not a center. I understand that. He's 28. He's not a young winger you want to pair with this core, but I don't think people realize how good Mitch Marner is. Like, he's a top 10 player scoring wise in the league since he's come in, top 8.
Well, since in the regular season.
In the regular season, yes. I would love to get to the playoffs. I would love to watch my team disappoint in the playoffs. You have to get in the playoffs and disappoint to take that next step. Like, we're seeing that with the Hurricanes. Like, I don't know if they're going to, they could win tonight. They could win tonight by the time you guys are listening to this, but like, Mitch Marner, people are like, oh, how's he going to deal with the Philadelphia media, Toronto media? Toronto media is like how the Eagles are covered here times 10. It's like, it's the team in the city, the Hockey Hall of Fame, hockey capital there is Toronto. If he come to Philly, the problem is too many right wings. I get that. You trade out Tippett for a center. Imagine Konechny would be willing to go on the left side, as he has done sometimes with Michkov. It would be very expensive. I understand that, but go ahead, Joe. What are your thoughts?
No. You finish your thought.
I'm just rambling on here on pretty much what I said in my article on ProStreetHockey.com that had got tons of comments. I did not read them. I'm sure they didn't like it as much, but I've seen also discourse on social media about like, oh, why would the Flyers go after Mitch Marner? They don't need him. But I mean, every team in the NHL needs Mitch Marner. That's my point.
Right. No, he's great. But you know what? There are going to be other Mitch Marners in the future when it makes more sense to do it. Like, you don't need to do it now. Also, he can't score in the playoffs, so like, what's the point?
We'll have Matvei Michkov to show up in the playoffs. We've seen him show up in big games before against his fellow countrymen. So Matvei Michkov would be the face of the franchise still. Like, Marner would be able to, kind of fly under the radar a bit. Like,
he's not the face of the franchise in Toronto. He's like the third guy.
Well, he's right up there. It's like, oh, Matthews and Marner. The M&M boys. Come to Philly, be the M&M boys with Michkov and Marner.
I would rather work out a trade. What if the Flyers sign Marner and then trade him back to Toronto for Matthews?
Matthews is definitely injured at some point this year. He said it was injured. Yeah, he didn't want to get into
in preseason, like in training camp, and he played with the injury all year. That's stupid. Like, I know hockey players are like, here you go to play through it. I'm like, dude, you can play through it all you want, but once the playoffs roll around and you're still hurt and you're not helping anybody, and his stat line really shows it.
Yeah. Matthews was not as good, but also the man to target from Toronto is John Tavares. We've talked about it before. He's a center. He's 34.
To sign.
To sign.
I thought you meant to blame. I was
no. To sign is John Tavares. Cap wages projects $8 million cap hit for 3 years, 34 years old. But it's a matter of where does he want to go? Because he could very well go to one of these contending teams. He could go to like Colorado or like Vegas or something and have a great chance to win a cup that he hasn't done yet. So that's why it's always tough to talk about bringing in these big name free agents that haven't won yet, that are in their mid to late 30s. But yeah, you said like wait for when better players are available. And we can look at next year's free agent class. McDavid,
2026, yeah.
Kaprizov, Eichel, Kyle Connor, Panarin, Marty Necas, Kempe, uh,
Ovechkin,
Ovechkin, Alex Tuck, Isaac
Makar.
Kopitar. But like Makar, yeah. But like we also saw this summer, there was supposed to be a bunch of names like that, like Draisaitl. There was
Yeah.
Rantanen was potentially out there if he didn't resign or he didn't sign an extension. Like a lot of these names are not going to reach free agency, and
No.
it's looking like Marner is, and he might be the best player available in free agency for the next 3 years.
I don't know, man. Flyers still need like a middle six center next year, right? There's a guy becoming a free agent. He's 34 years old. Goes by the name of Kevin Hayes. You know,
I was like, who am I missing on this list that could actually be good? No, then
you know
no,
who would fix the Flyers defense? Shea Weber.
Trey Weber, bring him back. Flyers legend.
Carey Price, that'll fix the goaltending.
Yeah. And then 2027, you got Kucherov, Makar, Crosby, Quinn Hughes, DeBrincat, Nico Hischier, Batherson, Stone, Jared McCann, Teuvo Teravainen, Jason Zucker, Ryan O'Reilly. But that's 2 years down the line. You have no idea what you're going to need by then. Like maybe Luchenko by then shows he can be a top six center. Maybe the Flyers get a center in this draft or trade for a center, and you don't need a center anymore. So
yeah,
like there is the chance that there are going to be better players available in the coming off seasons. But if Marner is there and like you don't have to get a center. We see in Dallas, Mikko Rantanen, he's not a center. Rupe Hintz is the center, and he's a good 1C, but he's not an elite 1C. So I'm going to be on this Marner train until he signs elsewhere. I feel like, yeah, he's 28, but we've seen players go into their 30s still putting up good production. And as he declines, we'll see Michkov get better and better, maybe kind of flip flop roles there. But yeah, you can't write off going after the best player available in free agency when he's a top 10 winger in the league.
No, I get the logic behind it. I just think the money the Flyers would have to commit to make him come here, not going to be worth it. I don't care that the cap's going up. Like, I don't care that he's the best regular season winger in one of the best regular season wingers in the league. Like, I don't think it would work here. I also don't think Briere and Jonesy would be like, yeah, that guy's got it.
That is one of the issues. Tocchet did coach him at the Four Nations, so there might be something there. Obviously, Konechny and Sanheim played there as well. But I mean, Marner, yeah, he doesn't score a ton, but he had 13 points in 13 playoff games this year, 3 and 7 last year. 2 years ago, 14 points in 11 games. But he's a passer, he's a playmaker, and I know the Flyers need more shooters and scorers, but like
we need the playmakers. All of our guys are shooters.
We need both. We need playmakers and scorers.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
But no, like, I mean, Forster's a shooter. If you keep Tippett, he's a shooter. Like
TK.
We'll see what centers we get in the draft or free agency or trade for. We don't know what they're going to be.
Forster, Tippett, TK. Michkov, I think, is a goal scorer more than he is a playmaker, but his playmaking is still quite good. Who am I forgetting? And Brink's kind of a facilitator. And oh shoot, there's a winger I'm forgetting, isn't there? No. TK, Michkov, Tippett,
Forster, Brink, Pelletier. Forgot about Pelletier.
Pellets. I don't know what he is. I know that's what Torts said. Like, I don't know what he is, but I don't really know what he is or what he's going to be.
Yeah, he's going to be a wild card going into training camp. Like, where is he even going to play?
If he sticks with the Flyers, like, do they sign him to a contract? Do they trade his rights? Do they? I don't know, man.
Yeah, like, he is an RFA. Everyone's just talking about, Cates, Forster, and York, but Pelletier is an RFA. He's going to get probably a small deal, but yeah.
If he stays with the Flyers, that's the thing. But Briere likes him, and he showed a lot after Torts got fired. So yeah,
I think he'll stick around. It seems like I can't imagine he doesn't enjoy the locker room with all those other young guys in there. But yeah, and the age thing with Marner, I'm not too fussed about, because like we talked about, you need that core, and right now there are only older players on the team. Couturier is 32, Konechny 28, Tippett 26, Cates 26. Yeah, Hathaway, Delaria, but they're up there. Like, you need like a more experienced forward to go with these younger guys. Like I don't know. I just feel like Marner should not be, like I said, written off as like a don't go after him.
I mean, if he calls you, you don't hang up the phone, but I'm not picking up the phone to try and get something done, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine there. And like you mentioned, the playoffs we're seeing here in the playoffs, you do kind of need to be a bigger team, and the Flyers are
Right.
going to have to get bigger at some point. You know, Marner is 6 foot, doesn't play a big game, but
No.
I'm not sure how or when they can address that. I'm not sure if that's best to address now or if now it's just focusing on, okay, taking that next step to become a playoff team and then get the size when you can, whether it's this offseason, whether it's next offseason or a trade, or, maybe you don't go that way.
Yeah, I mean, they've got size in the system. It's just like 3 or 4 years away. I don't know. This is a sticking point for me with a lot of Flyers fans. They're like, "Oh, he's not in the NHL at 21 or 22. Bust." I'm like, "Dog." Like sometimes players don't just they're not that elite level that can figure it out immediately. I mean, even Jack Hughes, he hit the league real young, but guess what? He missed a ton of time with injury because he wasn't physically prepared to play in the NHL,
Hmm.
right? I'm fine if they take their time with these guys. I don't mind like Alex Bump. He's 22 right now, right? He'll
I
be
think so. Yeah.
he'll probably be like 22, 23 by the time the season starts next year. I don't know when his birthday is.
He
Oh,
is,
he's 21 right
he's
now. Sorry.
21. When's his birthday?
When is his birthday? But he's big. He's
November.
six
November. Yeah.
November. So he'll turn 22 early in the season. He's 6 feet tall and almost 200 pounds. Like he's
Yeah.
physically ready for the NHL.
Yeah.
Um,
Nikita Grabenkin looks like a guy that can be a nice power winger,
sure.
6'2", hopefully in that front presence on the power play. Probably not a top six winger, but like put him on the third line, checking line, and have him, dump it in and chase it.
Yeah. I mean, there is size in the system. It's just not necessarily here and ready yet, which
Hmm.
I don't think people understand that some of the players that are here right now, like Bobby Brink or, I don't know who else, maybe even Noah Cates, Ryan Paling for sure. They're just bridge players.
Hmm.
They are only going to be here until someone in the prospect pipeline is ready to take their role. They're not going to be here forever. Um, and I think next year we're going to see, in the next year, we're going to see some departures that are going to maybe not surprise us, but be a bit of a bummer in a way.
I mean, yeah, Briere, you like everyone on this team. There's no one on this team you're like, oh man, I can't wait till they get rid of him. Maybe Risto
Mhm.
because he's has a big contract, but he's been great when he's healthy. Like, and yeah, you are going to have to trade some of these players because you have the prospects coming up. You have Bump, you got Grabenkin. What are you laughing about?
So I'm just looking at the defense roster. Who is the okay? We're excluding Ryan Ellis from this exercise because he is the
Okay,
oldest defenseman. Um, who is the second oldest? Not including Ryan Ellis.
is it not Risto?
So it's Nick
Is Rist
Seeler, and then it's Risto.
okay? Yeah,
Risto's 30, which means he is like the reigning veteran defenseman in a way. I don't mind if he sticks out the last 2 years. Like, if there isn't a prospect pushing for his spot, whatever.
Hunter McDonald, he's ready.
He's a left shot.
Yeah, he could probably play both sides though. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to be a third
Oliver
pair guy,
Bonk is going to have somewhere to play.
he might not be ready next season, though.
Yeah, I
Also,
imagine.
considering how often Risto is hurt, there's probably going to be a roster spot available.
Yeah, Bonk will just come up whenever there's an injury. That's not going
Yeah,
to be. He'll be like the Andre of next year.
yeah. Or our boy Louis Belpedio.
Louis Belpedio. Louis Belpedio. What a guy. What a
Louis
guy.
Prettyfoot. Although, wait a minute, is he? Oh, he's a UFA. Oh, that
Oh
might be a.
no. Oh
Oh
no.
no. Oh no. Who have we got? Hunter McDonald, Adam Ginning,
Huggy Grans is down there, right?
LJ Grant. Well, he's an RFA, so they got to
Oh
figure that
no.
out.
Spencer Girl's 18. No,
He's not coming to the AHL
no,
next
no,
season. No
no,
shot. Ethan Sampson. Wow, the Phantoms defense is really young. Also, Phantoms. See you, Lappy. I know that's a hard pivot, but see you, Lappy.
It's not a hard. I mean, it's not a hard. We were just talking about the prospects, talking about the Phantoms, and yeah, Lappy is out as Phantoms head coach. It was
See ya.
I think speculated in later in the season by some people there, but yeah, officially going to be out there. You wrote about it probably last month at this point that the
Yep.
biggest decision is going to be AHL coach, and after they got Tocchet, they got to figure out now who's going to be the Phantoms head coach.
Who indeed? Do you have any front runners? Like picking the NHL coach, there's only 40 guys to choose from, but in the AHL, it could go one of a billion ways.
I wonder if it goes to someone like a Jay McKay, who was that one of their line mates or whatever. He's in the OHL. He could potentially make the step up to the AHL and
Okay.
then be the next guy. If Tockett's not the guy, maybe a college guy comes up, maybe some sort of assistance. Like I have no idea who
Yeah.
is potentially in the AHL coaching carousel.
I don't know either. Do you think any head coaches or anyone from the NHL who has been a head coach at the NHL level would go back to being an AHL head coach? I doubt it, right?
Dan Bilesma did that, I
He
believe,
did. He
with
did.
Coachella. Like
Yep.
maybe some
And then
coaches,
they
maybe
fired him 1 year later.
yeah, maybe some coaches that like were around 5 years ago on bad teams that haven't gotten a job again. Like just thinking about Chicago coaches, like or
Luke
like a
Richardson.
Luke.
What
Well,
about
Luke
Luke
Richardson's
Richardson?
probably going to be an assistant
An
coach, I would
assistant
think.
here.
But like
Yeah.
maybe like David Quinn is he somewhere like someone like that? That's
He's an assistant in Pittsburgh, isn't he?
maybe I don't possibly
I feel like
David
I discussed
Quinn.
this with
He is
you.
an assistant. He's an assistant in Pittsburgh. But like
Deja vu.
someone like that, someone that's had a few jobs, didn't work out. They're back to either being an assistant or waiting for a job. Like yeah, I feel like, but it could also just be like a fresh name. I wouldn't mind seeing someone like a McKee or an OHL guy come up to coach these guys because we're seeing a bunch of juniors guys making the step to the pro level, which I guess that you want a coach that's coached at the pro level before, so maybe not McKee, but I feel like someone that more so someone like a Quinn that's been at the NHL level once or twice, clearly hasn't stuck around, want to prove themselves and get back into it.
Yeah. I'm pretty open to the AHL head
Yeah,
coaching position. I'm
just
not like there's no one guy. I don't think anyone they choose would make me mad. Like if they'd chosen Quenneville to coach the Flyers, I would have been pissed. But
yeah.
I don't think there's anyone they can choose for the Phantoms that I'd be like genuinely mad at, unless there's like some skeletons in their closet that we find out about. And it's like, well, why did you do that? But we won't know
Yeah.
until it's done.
I'm trying to think of like a recent former Flyer like Lappy that they could potentially give the job to. But Lappy was the assistant coach for the Flyers before going down to the AHL. But I mean, the Flyers have had some good hockey minds in their
Wayne
ranks
Simmons.
recently. Wayne Simmons, I don't know if he wants to coach.
I doubt it.
I think Thomas wrote up something about like Eric Lindros could be like the Flyers, like Martin St. Louis or someone like that. John LeClaire is in the system now. Like
True.
he would definitely fit the Tocchet Jonesy triumvirate there. But yeah, we'll wait and see. We'll see what comes out, and then we'll dig into it.
Yeah, Bobby Clark.
Bobby Clark. Yeah, but pivoting back here to free agents, more realistic free agents, because Tocchet's a recruiter. Briere said they're already talking to players' agents, reach out to them that want to come play here. So if it's not Marner, you got Matt Duchene. He had a big goal last night for
Finally,
Dallas.
his first of the playoffs.
Yeah, Dallas needs their depth to show up a lot. He had 30 goals, 82 points in the regular season. Like,
Yeah, he
he
did.
probably still wants to win a cup, though. I don't think he was on. No, he wasn't on the Avalanche team when they won the cup. They already
No,
traded him
no,
years
he's on
prior.
a
So,
sweetheart deal too. Like
mhm.
he's not signing with you unless you either pay him a ton of money or B can get him to the Stanley Cup. Because that $3 million contract, he's worth way more than that. But he had a good year last year and wanted to stay. So that's the benefit of being an organization that is constantly in the mix. You can get guys to come play for you and do it at a discount.
Yeah. Matt Duchene in the 2014-15 season as a 24-year-old put up 55 points in 82 games. You know who his teammate was there on the Avalanche in that season?
Eric Johnson?
No, one Daniel Briere was
Oh,
that was his last
Well,
year in the NHL. So
they were both there. They were both there.
yeah, I'm sure Eric Johnson was there too. But I mean,
Yeah.
Briere could get Duchesne. He could be that good. He's not the Tavares, but he could fit what the Flyers want. Like he could play center, he can play wing, he can be. I guess he would be the team's 1C. He would be the best center. Like that's an option. Mikael Granlund is. You don't think he'd be the 1C?
Who?
Duchesne.
Oh, he would. He probably would be him or Coots. No, I'm just like scrolling down the list, and Brandon Tenev popped up, and I'm like, oh, that fits the Flyers.
I mean, he's like Hathaway. He's like a Hathaway type, though.
He's listed as a center for some reason. I don't know why that's.
He's not a center. He's not.
How about Lars Eller?
Lars Eller, yeah, what a guy, but yeah, Duchesne, Tavares, Mikael Granlund, all three veteran centers that could be good. 3-year deal, stopgaps until Luchenko or whoever they draft this year is ready.
I like Granlund. He's just small. He's another small guy, but I really like him.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. Okay,
he's just a little guy.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Duchesne too. I think he's on the shorter side. I know Tavares plays a bigger game, right?
Sure. What about Pius Suter?
He was with Vancouver, right?
He was, and he stepped up to fulfill Elias Pettersson's role.
Is he a free agent?
He is
a free agent. Yeah, I wonder if he liked playing for Talk and will come here. He's 28, going on 29 in 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
Fellow May birthday there, I like that. Yeah, maybe he's 5'11" though. Like he could come in for maybe a 2-year deal. Cap wages projects $4.9 million for 4 years. I feel like that would be just a very underwhelming signing for fans, and they'd be like, "Oh, they're signing him just because he played for Talk. Why are they doing this?"
But he fits a position of need. You could get him for a pretty reasonable contract for a reasonable term. Like, look, I've harped on this before. I know they said they want to improve. This team had the 4th worst record in hockey this season. Improving is like marginal. If they go to the 9th worst record, that's still an improvement. It doesn't just mean
if they're going to have the 9th worst record, just have the 1st worst and try to get Gavin McKenna.
Or the Islanders will win the lottery again. Like it is totally ridiculous to me to approach it that way.
Yeah, Pius Suter is a guy I hadn't even considered, but he does make a lot of sense. Like he's not as sexy as the Sam Bennett or the Granlund or the Tavares or the Duchesne, but yeah, I guess it would I'd prefer him over Brock Nelson. Like I don't want Brock Nelson for $7 million. I'd rather take Suter for $5 million. But cap wages also projects Granlund for $4.9 million. Like,
maybe you get both.
Maybe you get both.
Maybe you get both because Granlund plays the wing a lot too. He's
and Granlund was in San Jose. We saw him be able to carry a line with Zetterlund and Eklund. I think it was the Lund line there, and he's willing to go to a bad team and they'll be like Flyers, but all right, we'll sign you for 2 years. If you don't like it here, we'll trade you at the deadline.
He was traded there. He did not choose to go to San Jose. He was traded there.
Well, no, but he could have pouted and been like, "Oh, whatever, I hate it here." But no, he played his way out of San Jose.
Like Barclay Goudreau.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this past year, Granlund 66 points were his most since 2017, 2018. So he's a 60 point guy. Once again, doesn't score too much. 22 goals is a second most in his career. He had 26 back in 2017. So yeah, there's these centers that maybe more casual fans won't understand why they're signing. Seems to be like a good option for like a middle 6 guy to stopgap here to get that improvement. So you're not calling up my boy Rodrigo Albels or whoever else to put them on the 4th line.
Tony Dick,
yeah. Suter. That's probably worth an article. Actually, I'm not sure if you want to write that up, but
I might just do that.
Yeah,
I already said they should trade for Stuart Skinner. I mean, where anything flies in the off season.
Keep it going. Yeah.
But he's a good age. He, what did he have? 46 points this season. Yeah, 46 points, 25 goals. What what was he playing? His average time on ice was over 17 minutes a night. So he's getting like middle six-ish usage. And he was able to play up the lineup when it became necessary. So I think there's reason to look into it.
Yeah, his most common line mates here on Money Puck were Dakota Joshua and Connor Garland for 192 minutes, and then Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser for 100 minutes. Hoglander and Garland as well. So I feel like he would be able to replace the on-ice production of Scott Laughton. Like he wouldn't obviously be able to fill the hole in the locker room, but he would be an upgrade on ice to Laughton. Middle six or bottom six center, can play up the lineup if he has to, but like ideally is a third line guy.
Also, RIP Team Canada.
I just went over there. 2-1 Denmark win. That's incredible. Nikolai Ehlers with less than 3 minutes left.
Woo!
And then Nick Olesen with 49 seconds left there. It looks like that is it's a backbreaker there for Canada.
Dog. Ehlers is gonna get that bag this summer.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Didn't Winnipeg just get eliminated like 4 days ago? And now he's.
Well, I think it's like 10 days by now. It was like last, or no, it was
last week, right? The Stars beat
Saturday. It was Saturday. Yeah,
it was Saturday.
I mean, yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Like some of these guys are just like, all right, our season's over. Let's go play at World Champs. Like, credit to them, especially these North American guys who, like I said, probably don't take it as seriously as these European guys. But what a win for Denmark there. What a story. That's good.
Way to go.
It's good to see. Good to see.
Wow, even the adult Team Canada team can't get it done on the international stage.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right.
Other centers out there, Ryan Donato.
He's
know
not
you guys.
Center.
He's not a center. He's listed as a center and winger on cap wages. I know you guys were talking about him in the Slack yesterday or a few days ago. Yeah, he's doesn't really interest me, but yeah, Pia Suter is definitely going to be a name to watch. Granlund, I would like as well, and Duchesne. I haven't been on high as high on him as I am right now, but I think it would work. It would work.
I think with Duchesne, it's less the Flyers wanting him and more if he wants the Flyers. Like if he wins the cup and he's like, I just want to get paid and coast for 2 years, cool. But I don't see him wanting to sign with the Flyers. That's really all it comes down to me.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be for most of these players. So it's like, all right, does this player want to come to the Flyers? And having Tocchet is going to help that.
Suter, I could see it happening just because he's, he's been a role player. He was good this season, but he didn't have like a star turn. So maybe he bets on himself on a short-term deal with the Flyers, but he's 29. So, it's tough. We'll see.
Yeah. I do like the Briere Duchesne connection there. So, yeah, well, that's a good option there.
Cool.
You have any updated thoughts on the draft in the past week? I'm trying to see if there's any recent mock drafts. I know that there was a recent one on the Athletic. I think they had the Flyers getting was it Martin or was it JOB? It was one of the guys we don't want.
I am pulling it up right now. It was the Wheeler Pronman double draft.
And then we also had the Craig Button. I'm not sure if it's a list or just a list. It's not a mock draft. But he had it was as of yesterday, so May 21st.
Okay. That's new.
He has Schaefer, Misa, Frondell, Martone, McQueen, Martin, Desnoyers, Hagen's at 8.
That's crazy. There's no way. If the Flyers take Brady Martin, I'm gonna riot.
That's just his rankings. That's not mocking to people. That's not. I feel like they would take Caleb Desnoyers if he's there. Like the familiarity, like I said. But if Hagens is there, they have to take Hagens. I'm sorry, they have to. It's been the Hagens draft up until the midpoint of this year.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the issues that Nolan Patrick had with his health. Like, go get him. Like, go get one of the top players in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, look between Hagens, Frondell, and Desnoyers, I'd take any three of them. I'd be happy with all of them for very different reasons. So the Pronman Wheeler draft, they did the first 2 rounds. So They had them taking Jake O'Brien, which they passed on Martone. And the reason they had them taking O'Brien is because all of Hagen's, Frondell, and Desnoyers went 3, 4, 5. So they were well, Flyers are going to draft a center, so they'll get Jake O'Brien.
No, I want Martone there. I want Martone can be that guy. I know people are comparing him to like a Chuck type, but he is 6'2" and 3/4. It says here, 98 points in 57 games for Brampton, which is where Jay McKee coached. If I feel like I might like Martone over a few of those centers. Like you can get a center.
Really?
I might like Martone's a guy that like the archetype of the player is a guy that does not become available too often, like that power forward that can score. But it would be tough to pass on a center when you have such a dire need.
I feel like you could get a power forward with another pick in another draft, but getting a center at this high up is priority one for me.
Yeah.
So Jake O'Brien at 6. At 20, this is before the realignment of draft picks. So at 24, they had them taking Jack Nesbitt. I'm Mrs. Nesbitt for all the Pixar enjoyers out there. I don't know. He big. That's really all he is. He's 6'4". He big. And then after that, they have him taking Logan Hensler, who also he big, but I like Hensler a lot. At 25, that I could be okay with. Then in the second round, all 4 picks, they have him taking William Horcroft, Ivan Ryabkin, Eddie Genberg, and Nathan Bem. Horcroft, 6'5", so he big. Ivan Ryabkin, I get the logic. He's a divisive player. I'd be okay with it. Maybe not at 40, but at 48, I could get behind it. And then Eddie Genberg, quote from Promin, a true throwback Flyers type pick. Genberg is one of the most physical players in the draft while also having a strong athletic toolkit and some offensive touch. Swedish left wing. And then Nathan Bem. He's what is he? A right wing, 6'2", big guy. Like they just all of these mockers just draft guys based on what the Flyers would have done 10, 15 years ago. And I get it. But what in Briere's 2 drafts makes you think that this is the kind of player that they are going to target? What the hell?
It doesn't make sense at all. And I have not looked at anyone past like the top 10, so I don't know who would be good to get with those second picks. But yeah, the Avs pick is now up to 22nd. I think that's officially where it's going to be now with the conference final set. So that's good. Thanks to the Avs for losing early. That's going to be a good one. And I like Ryabkin. Ryabkin. I don't know.
I say Ryabkin.
He's fallen down the draft board quite a bit. He does have attitude issues. So, like I've said before, you got to interview him. You got to see how he does, in the combine and whatnot. But
it's not just attitude. It's like he's got all the skill in the world, but doesn't understand the game of hockey. Like it's one of those things.
One of those classic like rocks for brains hockey players.
Yeah, like I don't know. I compared. This is not even related at all, but I compared him to Aaron Kiviharju, who at last year's draft was usually rated in like the top 40 or 50 prospects. He fell into like the 4th round where the Wild got him. So, maybe he's this year's Kiviharju, who is very highly touted for his skill, blah, 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 and then ends up getting taken in the 3rd or 4th round because reasons.
Yeah, if he's there on day 2 when the Flyers have those picks, they have where's the draft order? They have
36, 40, 45, and 48, I think.
Yeah, so they have the 4th, 8th, 13th, and 16th picks in the second round. Like maybe San Jose or Chicago takes a swing at him, or Nashville even. But I think if he's there for your first pick of day 2, you take him. It's a big enough swing.
Really?
I'd
wait.
I would.
I'd hold off. I'd hold off till at least 40, maybe even 45 or 48.
I don't know enough. I don't know enough about this guy. Just go get. He has high end skill. If he's available in the second round, go get him. That's my current take on it.
All right. Yeah. I can't wait. For our listeners out there, I tell you, I cannot wait for the EP draft guide to come out. I am so excited. It's like mini Christmas in June or May or the summer, whenever you want to say it is.
Not much
Anything
else
else?
here, I guess. Congratulations to Oliver Bonk and Denver Barkey winning the OHL championship. They're going on to the Memorial Cup this weekend. So
That way,
good luck.
boys.
Good luck to them there. I'm not sure if Barkey is healthy again. I know he was missing some time, but nevertheless,
Here's hoping.
good for him. Good for Bonk. Good to see players winning. Yeah, sad to see Forster, Konechny, and Sanheim out of the World Championships. But you know what? I'm not going to get hurt. So there you go.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully they weren't directly responsible for that final goal against.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Wasn't Bonk responsible for one of the big goals against Team Canada or World Juniors?
I don't recall.
I think it like bounced off like his stick as like like an own goal. It was
like a weird redirect or something.
Yeah.
Hey, it happens.
Shit happens.
I mean, one of the goals we saw last night, it worked out for Dallas, but Rupe Hintz is prone on the ground. Duchesne fires it right into his ass.
Yeah.
It bounces back to Duchesne, and then he puts it in the net. It was like, man, hockey's a great sport, man.
And we saw someone made a save with their butt on the butt save
that was the Jets
Eastern Conference Final. No, I'm pretty sure it was game 1. It may have been a Hurricanes defenseman because the Panthers would have went up like 4-0. I don't know. It may have been a Leaf. Actually. It may have been like Jake McCabe or someone like that. But
yeah, right.
Doesn't really matter.
You have who before we get out of here? Game 1 is done of the conference finals. Who do you have winning these conference finals?
It's going to be a rematch. Oilers Panthers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. After the Stars rolled in the third last night, I think Stars and I want to say Canes because that's what my bracket is, but I think the Panthers get back in there. They have been they are so fun to watch. I know they're the heel of this year's playoffs, but I love the Panthers. They're so fun to watch.
I do as well. It's like, yeah, they're reigning Stanley Cup champions, coasted through the regular season, added Brad Marchand at the deadline, added Seth Jones at the deadline. Seth Jones has been incredible. And Aaron Ekblad got a nice 20-game rest there due to taking PEDs. Then a 2-game rest for giving a forearm shiver to Brandon Hagel, which he also did to Jackson Blake there in game 1. So Panthers just keep coming at you with good lines. And like Carolina, they play the right way. They play a great system. And I would like the Flyers to replicate that, but they need more high-end talent. They have one line, and that's it.
It's actually something I was listening to PHLY the other day, and Kelly Hinkle was like, she was talking about they need to call the penalties. You have the rule book for this. And it kind of dawned on me. I was like, let me look at the power play efficacy of the teams in the regular season and how they're doing in the playoffs. And 6 of the top 10 power plays in the league made the playoffs, and 4 of those 6 were eliminated in the first round. So it's to me, you having a good power play in the regular season does not guarantee playoff success because penalties are called less frequently. So if all of your scoring is based on special teams, you're not going to go as far. Then you look at the teams like the Panthers and the Stars who have that scoring depth. They can do better because they're not relying on the power play. That said, never let the Oilers go on a power play because they are insane. Don't do that. But you know, that's what makes Florida so good is they know exactly what they can get away with without giving the other team a power play. And then they can score with their third line. Lundell, Luosterainen, and Marchand has been it goes back to the Penguins of the 2016-17 Cup champs. It's like, we have Phil Kessel on our third line and you don't. We win. We have Brad Marchand on our third line. We're going to win this. Like, it's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, Brad Marchand has a chip on his shoulder too because Don Sweeney didn't want to re-sign him. Don Sweeney got re-signed though for some reason there in Boston.
Yes,
but yeah, the special teams win. Special teams and goaltending wins in the playoffs. And the big thing for the Oilers.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No,
you need the depth scoring.
I know that's not what you're saying, but special teams wins in the playoffs. Special teams goaltending is what you need. And yeah, but look at the penalty kill. The top penalty kills right now in the playoffs: Panthers 88%. Hurricanes 87.9, Stars 84.8, and then you got to go all the way down. Oilers 62.2, they were like almost perfect last year going into the Stanley Cup final. Like
They
that
got
is key.
pantsed. They got pantsed by the Kings. The LA Kings had a 40% power play in their first round against the Oilers. Like that'll burn them. And they took a ton of penalties last night. Stupid ones.
Yeah.
Stupid penalties from Corey Perry and was it Evander Kane, I think?
Kane had the
both
high stick
sticking.
on Duchesne. Yeah.
Stupid.
But I will give credit to Edmonton. You know, the Kings took them to task there in the first few games, but then, you know, Kings power play was 1 for 8 in the final 3 games. Same thing with Vegas. They were 3 for 7 the first 2 games and then 0 for 6 in the final 3. So as long as they stay disciplined, I feel like Edmonton has the has it. As long as Stu Skinner can be Stu Skinner. Like we never know what's happening there in Edmonton.
Or Cal Pickard.
Or Cal Pickard if he comes back. Undefeated in the playoffs. Undefeated. 6-0.
Conn Smythe winner Cal Pickard.
Could you imagine? Yeah.
Could you imagine?
All right. We'll probably record late next week again. We're going to try to be on a weekly basis. There's not a ton to talk about. So hopefully we get some draft stuff. Maybe we get some coaching news in the AHL or assistant coaching news or rumors or trading for players' rights. Like we saw them trade for Kevin Hayes' rights. Like I think it was like early June of that offseason. So maybe we'll get something. But until then, Joe, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at jfdemarini.bsky.social. Thank you very much. Where can they find you, Gilbs?
You can find me on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.social.
And everybody go wish him an early happy birthday because his birthday is this weekend.
It is. My birthday is on Monday, Memorial Day. So everyone gets off my birthday this year. Everyone make sure you go celebrate there. All right. Make sure you follow Broad Street Hockey podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like and subscribe on the website as well. I appreciate all of that. And until next time, thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.